What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got our first two leaders that have gone and been revealed from the upcoming Op-08 set, and I need to explain why I was wrong, but it's not my fault, and I'll probably be wrong again. But it's okay, and it's still not my fault. You see, we saw the reveal the other day of Op-08. This has been revealed in Japanese. We know we're getting Rally, and we know we're getting Newgate, and we know it's called Two Legends. We know it is due for release on the 25th of May, which is pretty much 2 months away. And we are very much in the reveal cycle for it, or I suppose it might be more accurate to say, the reveal schedule has just begun with Leader Chopper and Leader Carrot. Yeah, they're the two ones that we've seen. Now, if we start off with Leader Chopper, for those of you that have been paying attention, following the news, especially on my channel where I'm showing you everything, you're going to look at Chopper and something's going to seem weird. Because the first thing you're going to notice about Chopper is the colour. And you'll notice that Chopper is a red-green leader. And then you'll remember, well, hang on a second, Wassy. Didn't you tell us Chopper was going to be a red-black leader? And the answer is yes. Yes, I did. I did tell you it was going to be a red-black leader, and it is not. But you know what? It's not my fault. I was wrong, don't get me wrong. But here's the thing. I found distributor information on two different websites that specifically said red, black, Tony Chopper. Oftentimes I'll only find the information on one distributor website. This time I found it on two different ones. We were supposed to be getting a red, black, Tony Chopper. So what happened? And the answer is the distributors either got or published the wrong information. However, given that it was two different distributors, it's almost certainly that they got the wrong information. Now, for those of you that don't know, essentially what happens with the distributor information is it comes direct from Bandai. Bandai send it out and the distributor makes their page. Distributors are not going to be an absolute expert on every single product that they carry. They cannot be. Now, don't get me wrong, they'll know about the One Piece TCG, and they will understand which products are good, etc. But when it comes to being an expert on every card released and what colour each leader would logically be, that's too much for every card game for the person making the listings on distributor websites. And if it's got the same information on two different websites, it's almost certainly not come from each other, it's come from Bandai. Bandai sends it out, and the distributors just put it up on their website in whatever form they find appropriate. So either Chopper was supposed to be red and black and they changed, or the person sending out the information from Bandai got it wrong. Which happens, we all make mistakes in our job. It is absolutely possible that the person writing the copy to send to the distributors meant to write red and green and accidentally wrote red and black. That is absolutely possible. But this goes to a wider point which I've been telling you guys for a while. Distributor information is useful and good and tells us what's coming and is expected to be accurate. It is not 100% confirmed, and I've told you this a million times. Nothing that we hear from distributors is confirmed until we see it on official channels. So we know Tony Chopper is green and red because it's been tweeted out by the official Twitter account. That's how we know for a fact that's what the colour the leader is. And we've had this argument about release dates a lot. Yes, distributors put up release dates for Op-08. We do have an English release date for Op-08. The distributors have shared the release date for Op-08 in English, and we have a release date at the moment of the 13th of September, which is likely to be true. But I've told you guys again and again that actually these release dates are not confirmed until they're put on the official website. And it does strike me as slightly ironic that I've gotten a lot of grief from people for telling you that the release dates on the distributor websites are not confirmed or official, and they're not until they're put on the website. They are likely to be true. They are given by Bandai to distributors to give them an idea, but they are not confirmed. But yet, we also see people getting angry that people said Chopper was going to be red-black and it turned out to be red-green. It's exactly the same thing. So just moving forward, I've told you before, but let me tell you again, distributor information is good and important and give us a great idea of what's coming, but it is not confirmed until such time as it's actually disseminated through official channels. Sound good? Good. And as a side note, and this hurts me on a personal level, the fact that Chopper is not a black leader means Laboon doesn't work. There are plenty of animals that are black, including all the Laboon we've seen so far, and it makes me genuinely sad that they can't be played with Chopper. Never mind. But incidentally, that is one of the reasons why it seemed sensible that Chopper would be a part black leader, because there have been plenty of animal cards that have actually been black, like Laboon. So what have we actually got then? I've done the translations myself, but I have checked with people like the Lovior and Samurai D, who's checked with people on the Discord. And what we've got with Chopper here is a dual colour leader, so standard thing. We got 5,000 power for life. And we got a skill whereby activate main once per turn, give up to 1 rested Don to each of up to 3 of your animal or Drum Kingdom type characters. So we are very much talking about an animal leader here. And we're attaching 3 rested Don, which is clearly awesome. Now, here's the other problem. We've not really had Drum Kingdom yet. Drum Kingdom is not really a thing. Like in EBO1, we did have the event card Shut Up and Come With Us, which is Drum Kingdom and Straw Hat Crew, admittedly. Which, as a side note, that's what Tony Chopper is. Drum Kingdom, Straw Hat Crew, and Animal. So all 3 of those. But this is another one of those things, and we see this quite a lot. This is essentially, and no, I'm not counting one random event card, this is essentially a new trait, which has not really been explored in the game so far. So we're going to have to wait and see as to exactly what this is. Exactly how this ends up being used. In terms of animal, though, we have had a bunch of animal before, and there are a bunch of them that are green and red, but none of them I'm particularly excited about. Like, I loved Kung Fu Dugong, but it's a blocker and it doesn't really need the extra. I love the Tony Chopper from EBO1, and I suppose that puts you up to a 5k, and when attacking, you do get to give one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power, so there are some out there, but I don't think any of them are particularly good. Certainly, there's no animal, I'm searching on onepiece-cardgame.dev. I'm not seeing any animal characters here that are making me think, oh yeah, I want to play Tony Chopper. But again, we are right at the beginning of the reveal cycle for this set, for Op-08. There are going to be a bunch of animals in there. And another thing I've said many times, but I do think bears repeating, when we get these new leaders, it's oftentimes very difficult to actually decide whether they're going to be good or not. Because honestly, we need to see all the Drum Kingdom and Animal cards, and quite frankly, we've not seen them yet. But we have been shown another leader, and it is Carrot, which is interesting to me. The distributor information that we got did tell us we were going to get Carrot in this set. That was shared. We weren't told it was going to be a leader. And maybe there's another one that isn't. But in fact, that's incredibly likely. That happens quite a lot. But what we've got here is a mono green leader, 5,000 power, 5 life, and it is Minx, incidentally, that's the type. And activate main once per turn. If you have a character with the Minx trait in play, rest up to 1 of your opponent's 5 cost or lower characters. Cool. It's alright. Once again, we really need to try and figure out what we've got in terms of Minx here, and once again, it's not perfect, honestly. I mean, I don't mind the Nekamamushi from Op-06. Don X2 lets you attack your opponent's active characters and can also be played as a trigger if your opponent has 3 or less life remaining. And we've got a couple of Beppo, like the one from Op-05 or the one from Starter Deck 10, which are quite nice. So it's not like we have no Minx around that can be used with this. We've got a couple of decent Minx. But I do think it's fair to say it is, again, we're waiting for better Minx, I think is probably the polite way to put it. We're waiting for better Minx to really see, just like we saw with Tony Chopper, we're waiting for better Minx to really see exactly whether this can be good or not. But we can look at the skill, because we know that the skill rests your opponent's characters, so we can look at that and go, well, alright then, how do we feel about this in comparison to some of the other green leaders and their skills that rest your opponent's characters? And the answer is all right. Like, you put this next to Perona, for instance, and Perona's dual colour green and black, and activate main once per turn. You can rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Now, you don't need to have anything specific, like this, for instance, Carrot needs to have a mink on the field, but it is only 4 or less, not 5 or less, and we can do the same thing with Hody Jones. Hody Jones can rest a 3 or less. But you also need to rest his leader, but then it also stops you adding life cards to your hand, which, as we know, is pretty important if you're trying to play a Fishman deck. So, clearly, compared to Perona or Hody Jones, you can rest bigger characters. That's a good thing. The problem is, in Op-07, we had the mono-green Jewelry Bonnie leader. And that one has just got, when you're attacking, activate main, pay 1, and you get to rest any of your opponent's characters or their leader. So, yeah. Now, Bonnie, you do have to pay 1, whereas with Carrot here, you don't. But they are both mono-green leaders, and Bonnie can rest anyone, including the leader, and Carrot is a character with a cost of 5 or less. So, it does actually compare very favourably. When you put it next to things like Perona and Hody Jones, if you're looking to rest characters, Carrot does actually compare very favourably. But then again, remember Perona's also got the second skill that lets you give a -1 cost if you like and has a second colour. Jewelry Bonnie is better at resting characters, but then can also rest the leader. But it is when attacking you got to pay 1. Compares favourably, not perfect, there we go. First 2 leaders and a big explanation of exactly how the distributor information comes and why it's good, but should never be treated as perfect. And this was a great example of that. But for now, it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these 2 leaders you like. Tell me if you're excited about them. And just remember that it's going to be some time before we know all the information. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.